Alright, video number 1, Eagle 2000B, just a standard 2000B. As you can see, I have 4 of your drums on the pallet that they ship to me. Inside of each drum is a 55-pound bag of material that we use on our water jet, which you can probably hear running in the background. So they are not nearly as heavy as what they would be probably when you all use them. Kind of show you here, you have your table speed, carriage speed, and load force, all of which are adjustable at any time during the wrap process. We are using a just run-of-the-mill 80 gauge film. I'll be honest, it's nothing fancy. In fact, in my opinion, it's actually kind of a crappy film, but for what we use it here, we're equipment people, we're not film people. It works great for the guys to be able to test and use with each machine. So the film is wrapped underneath the pallet. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Default settings, the machine's going to wrap 2 times at the bottom, 2 times at the top, and then 2 times at the bottom. All of those parameters are adjustable. The film carriage does have a photo eye sensor, which you'll see right there in black, that detects that there is a load on the turntable, and also will seek the height of the load as it's wrapping. Your film overlap, or how much the film travels above the product, is fully adjustable. I kind of set it where I felt it was good based on your product. I do think with a little bit better film and the proper weight in each of your drums that you would be able to achieve a little bit more film tension as it's wrapping. Now, something to keep in mind, this film carriage is pre-stretching the film 250%. The easiest way to think about it is taking 10 inches of film and stretching it to 35. So film has memory, so when you stretch it, it wants to return to its original state. So as this product sits, or I should say as the film sits on the lobe, it will get tighter and tighter. Something coming here just to see. One second. Hey Lee, can you hold this phone? It is recording right now. I'm going to cut the film off. I want to show how much release there is as I cut this off. You can see as that releases, I'm no longer able to get this film remotely close to one another. Alright, video number 2, you'll notice that 1 drum has been removed, so we are down to 3 of the large drums. And before I start, I am going to make an adjustment here. Bear with me as I do this video myself, holding the phone, etc. So I'm going to go 1 for settings, press set, enter the password, 1, 2, 3, 4, enter. I'd like to change the bottom wraps to 3. So it's going to do 3 at the bottom, 2 at the top, then 3 at the bottom. And I'm going to change our photo eye delay to 55, so helping it travel a little bit farther up and beyond the top of the load. Job mode, number 1 for auto. I have the fill tied off. Now, one thing to note, ideally product should sit flush with the edge of the pallet on all sides in order to get the best film retention, not only on your product but on the pallet itself. When you have large voids such as this, the film is naturally going to want to go towards the innermost part of the pallet versus the edge. And as we go from down to 2 drums or 1 drum, you're going to see that change quite a bit. So go ahead and hit start. With the 3, I still think you might be able to get away without really having an operator in the mix. But it's something that when I teach people how to use these, that, you know, in those first couple rotations, you know, the operator could reach their hand down in there and maybe rope the film to the pallet, or kind of help manipulate it where, you know, it needs to go. The carriage speed, I did turn down just a hair, and I turned the load force actually up just a little bit. This film, I don't know if you could see it there. Again, I mentioned earlier, it's not very good. It was just a fisheye, basically a hole in it as it ran across, which is never a good sign. That has nothing to do with the machine. It's just not good film. Those holes or voids in the film as it runs like that can be weak points where they'll want to tear. I did lower the film carriage about as low as I could go. Let me let this finish wrapping and I can show you. So the machine's always going to start and finish at the same spot, assuming it was at home when it did start the wrap cycle. The nice benefit to that is you're not having to chase the load around and around with your forklift. Now here, there would normally be a back door on the back of this. It's off because it needs to be removed before the tower is knocked down. Back there in the corner, you'll see a switch. That's the lower limit switch. That controls where the film carriage actually stops. So there is a safety trigger plate here, which I'm floating maybe about a finger width or so between the two, so maybe 1/4 inch. I don't know if I could take it much lower, because what happens if that is triggered or pushed up, it's going to put the machine in an emergency stop state. But the goal is to try to get that as low as possible, so as the film is coming off of the carriage, it's going as low as possible onto the pallet itself. So we'll follow back up here with 2 barrels. Alright, video number 3, we're down to 2 drums. Now, in the last video I did not add any more weight to any of the drums, so even in this one we're sitting with 55 pounds per drum. As you know, the drums empty really don't weigh a whole lot, so let's say 60 pounds a drum, 120 plus the pallet weight, which is about 30 pounds, so, you know, 150 pounds total. And it's sitting on a piece of cardboard, which doesn't help the pallet grip the turntable a whole lot, but this is a new machine, so we're trying not to, I should say I'm trying not to scratch the turntable. Now, I did wrap this once prior to making this video to see how it went, and without involving myself, basically meaning if I just let the machine go on its own, like I said previously, the film is going to want to go inbound once it gets high enough to where the drums are at. So I had to kind of help manipulate it and get it where it needs to go, and I'm going to do the same thing here in this video, so bear with me as I run this, and hopefully I can try to capture everything on video for you. So just like last time, start. All wrap parameters have remained the same. So again, 3 wraps on the bottom. It's making good contact with the actual pallet, which is going to be important as it gets higher, like it's doing right now. So I'm going to kind of try to grab this film, kind of keep it on to the edges of the pallet as it rotates. I really can't add any more load force without more weight. I think if these drums weighed 100 pounds a piece, or even the 200 pounds a piece, you know, you'd have some decent amount of weight sitting on that, where you could really kind of lay it to it and get some good film applied. Same thing on the way down. I kind of help guide the film with my hand. I think getting complete coverage of the product, meaning, you know, no voids like you're seeing there, is going to be pretty much impossible. And I don't care who or what manufacturer we're looking at, without some sort of bag or coverage on it, it's just, that's what's going to happen. There's just too much area there to try to fill, or to try to fill with film. But I can tell you that with how everything's attached, I'm sliding the whole thing around here. Be back with the next video. Alright, in video number 4, Eagle 2000B down to just a single large drum. Now during this video, I'm going to have to set the phone down for just a second so that I can help get the film where I need it to go, because I have found that I can't hold the phone and take video at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and start here, and I'll show you what's going on. So same wrap parameters, nothing has changed there. So I'm going to let the film get 3 good rotations on the bottom of the pallet there. We're getting nice coverage. And basically, once I start seeing that film carriage travel up and the film goes maybe a couple inches above where the pallet's at, I'm going to come over here to my carriage speed, and I'm going to turn it all the way down. Now what that will do, it's going to sit there at this same position and not change. I'm going to grab the film and change it. So let me set the phone down here. Maybe. Oh heck, I gotta hold it. So bear with me here. I know it's not the best way to take a video. Basically creating a star pattern by roping the film and going up and around the load. That should help kind of create a webbing for the film to attach itself to. Still not going to get you full coverage, but it should help. So, hopefully you can focus there. There we go. Sorry about that. So you can see the webbing I did. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn my carriage speed back up, which will allow it to continue to travel upward. As in the first video I explained, it's going to use that photo eye sensor to detect the top of the load. With the single drum there, so green light means that it has power, the amber light means that it sees something. With the drum being in the middle and the location where it's at, it looked like the photo eye sensor was having a little bit of difficulty detecting that, hey, I see something, but it still was able to get to the top. And some of those settings are fully adjustable, and with a little bit more tweaking and some changes, I'm sure it could be dialed in a little bit better. So let me get this down on the bottom of the pallet there. Now, I guess I forgot to mention, so with this particular drum, I did add 2 more bags of that material in there. So 3 bags is 165 pounds, so there's a little bit more weight in it. With just 1, and with the pallet sitting on the cardboard, it was pretty much impossible to keep it from not moving around. Now, this may not look the prettiest. I can tell you, probably comparing it to doing it by hand, it's going to be way more stable. I'm moving the whole thing around right now. I'm grabbing the top of the drum, so this thing is not going to go anywhere. Alright, video number 5. We are now onto these small drums. 4 of them currently on the pallet. As you can see, each of them have a 55-pound bag of material in them. They are short, but they are tall enough that the photo eye sensor does detect that they are there. I have not even test run these. I feel pretty confident that it will run no problem with the settings we had already. So, start. Step back here so you can see. Now, I've had the table speed, which is how quickly the red turntable rotates, set at about 3/4. So it's probably about 9 or 10 revolutions per minute. You can turn it up to 12, but I think for your product and what we're doing, I think this is a nice speed. So probably be pretty repetitive to what the large drums were, in a sense of how the process will have to work. They are a little bit smaller in diameter, as you know, but at the same time the pallet that it's sitting on is smaller in size as well. So the only thing left I'd have to do here is tear the film off, but you can see here again that I'm moving the whole pallet around. All 4 of them are touching nice and tight. Have to really yank on them to get them to move. Video number 6, 3 of the small drums. Start. I think if it were me, watching this do what it's doing, I would probably still come in and kind of rope the film here and there. But I think even with the machine just doing its own thing, that it's going to hold the product in place perfectly fine. Definitely, as I mentioned in video 1, with it being pre-stretched and that film having memory and wanting to return to its original state, it's going to get tighter. So be back with video number 7 here in a second. Alright, video number 7. We are down to 2 of the small drums. I did add an extra bag of material to each drum, so there's 110 pounds in each of the drums. Start. Same wrap parameters, nothing's been changed. I reached in there and did a few quick ropes. I think with some more seat time and just playing with this, that the process could be improved quite a bit, but kind of shooting at the hip right now. Alright, be back with the last video here momentarily. Alright, video number 8, single drum. I did add another bag of material to this drum, so there's 165 pounds worth of material in that drum. So I'll go ahead and hit start. Now, just like video number 4 with the other single drum, I'm going to let it get a few rotations on there. I'm actually going to come down and rope the film, so watch as I grab my hand and I'm roping it to the actual pallet. That makes it very strong. Oh, strong enough that it actually tore there. Sharp corner, so reapply it. I'm going to come up here, turn my carriage speed down so I can come in and then do that webbing like I did in video number 4 as well. I'm not going to go as crazy with the web on this one. Okay, so once you get the web on there, you can come up there, and I should turn the carriage speed up a little bit higher on this. Make sure that it travels fully above the top of the pallet, or above the top of the drum, I should say, which it did. It's going to do those 2 rotations on the top. I'm going to turn the carriage speed back down to where we had it. I think with these single ones, you know, it's going to take a little bit of work. You're definitely not going to be able to set it and just walk away. It's just not going to happen. This film is complete garbage. I'm sorry it keeps ripping on me. It has nothing to do with your product or the machine. Actually, you can see right here. See that hole? That should not be like that. That creates a huge weak point in the... Single drum. I'm really trying to slam on it right now. Seems pretty secure, so... Again, I know I've said this a couple times, but I feel the more that you work with this product, with the wrapper, kind of fine-tune it to the application, I really have no concerns. I think it will work great for what you guys are doing, and will be way better than doing it by hand. Hope this video has helped you.